Hi people, my name is Jet2146 and today we're going to be looking at another replay. This one was played between me and the Total Fall the Samurai team yesterday and is going to feature Guatemala and Prussia against Bavaria and the USA. So let's just quickly go over army composition. Guatemala is mainly bringing a full line of infantry and 6 units of saber cavalry. Quite a simple setup, but it's going to be quite effective against how the USA is going to be playing this one. On this side we have myself with 4 units of cavalry, 2 Guard Uhlans and 2 Brunswicker Hussars. Then a line of Württemberg infantry, 2 units of Jaegers, 2 sets of 10-pounder howitzers, and 2 units of life guards. Most of the Bavarian force is hidden, but he has a pretty similar setup to me with 2 units of, I think it's King's Guard for Bavaria? Not sure. And then again, the USA also has most of his force hidden, so we'll be seeing more of it once the battle starts. But he's mostly bringing regular state foot infantry for his infantry, then a couple of foot riflemen, and 2 units of 12-pounder field howitzers. So let's just start off this replay. And I am immediately going to be extremely aggressive and push to the center of the map, trying to get this force into my hands as it will allow me to win any ranged fight against Bavaria. Meanwhile, the actual interesting side of the battle is going to be Guatemala versus the USA, as the US has a huge advantage in this battle, mainly because they're all fitted with rifled muskets, compared to all the smoothbore muskets being fielded by the Guatemalans. But the Guatemalan player is doing the same as me and is being really aggressive really early on here. Trying to get that center, trying to get control over the center of the map. Meanwhile, the USA player is moving forward his dragoons. Yeah, these are dragoons. And they are... Yes, these are actual regular dragoons equipped with rifles. And then another, like... It's another 5 units of cavalry with dragoons and National Lancers. Another unit of National Lancers, more National Lancers. So here we go with our third attempt of recording this replay. So I sped up a bit and now we're a bit ahead of where we were last, but the US player is moving in his cavalry really aggressively, trying to get his dragoons into this line infantry. The Guatemalan player is now moving his saber cavalry to the flank, trying to get the drop on his infantry. No, his cavalry, but also practically putting all of his infantry in square formation. Oh no, not all of his infantry is in square formation, going against the giant amount of cavalry the United States player is bringing. But the US player also has his dragoons dismounted. That's not going to be good, as the Guatemalans should be able to get him out in just sheer weight of fire. That's exactly what they appear to be doing. Meanwhile, Prussian player, myself, has been able to take the forest in the center of the map, putting the Bavarian player on a very big disadvantage. Meanwhile, I have put 1 unit of my infantry on the flank to guard against a cavalry charge that I might not be able to win. Meanwhile over here, his saber cavalry is now going to be descending upon his national lancers and dismounted dragoons. Meanwhile, his infantry is still unloading into those dragoons that are not able to match the volume of fire needed. And a charge from the national lancers straight into this unit of infantry. That's not going to last. That unit isn't going to be lasting all too long. Forming square beside it to get some shots into him on the flank. Meanwhile, the fight over here is still going, and the US is actually looking like it's going to be losing this cavalry engagement. Meanwhile, the Guatemalan player is moving forward more of his infantry, trying to clear this up. On the Prussian flank, not much has happened so far. It's still very, very quiet. It's mainly just been artillery flying both ways. The Bavarian player getting sneaky shot into my general over here. Meanwhile, back on this flank, the Guatemalan infantry is now being able to engage the dismounted dragoons in melee, and that's not going to end well for them. Guatemalan player has also practically won the cavalry engagement now. Now being able to send all of the infantry he had waiting behind it into it, cleaning up this part of the US's player. And over on this side he has done the same charge, but the US cavalry has rear charged him, and they're now getting shot in the back. It's not doing a whole lot because they're in a forest and these are smoothbore muskets, but they're still getting shot at. Meanwhile, the Guatemalan player has also moved some of his saber cavalry all the way around back, waiting for an opportunity to strike at the US player, who still has his infantry in reserve, but he has practically lost all of his cavalry so far. And now just being able to fire into the flank of this blob of national lancers. Come on, shoot. Oh, here they go. That was only going to be ending one way for those national lancers. From my side of the battlefield, I have been able to move up 2 units of infantry to slightly outflank the Bavarians. Meanwhile, getting this unit of infantry in position to shoot at these two. And now the light metal on my flank is going to be starting off. One which, if it goes on like this, I should be able to win, because I do have rifled muskets over his smoothbores. However, it doesn't appear to always be the case, as the Guatemalan player is practically broken through the American player's center, now being able to move up on those 5 units of infantry he did have. All the while his general staff is getting charged by Guatemalan saber cav. They are getting shot at by the state foot infantry. So those cav aren't going to be lasting for much longer. But they don't need to, as the Guatemalan infantry has already arrived at the front to help them out. Now more units of their infantry moving up to engage these in melee. Over on this side of the map, the Bavarian player has opted to just charge his infantry out, as he knows he cannot win a gun engagement. Oh, this infantryman just throwing his musket into a Bavarian's face.
A unit has grown weary, sir.
Meanwhile, the artillery duel is still going on, and now the Bavarian player is going to be committing all of his forces to a frontal charge to try and break through this line. Meanwhile, on the other side, there is now a line battle going on between the US state infantry and the Guatemala infantry, but Guatemala getting a nice cavalry charge into this unsuspecting unit of state foot. Also tying down the 2 units of light infantry the USA brought over here with some more spare cavalry. On this side of the battle, a giant melee has broken out, with the Bavarian grenadiers trying to push through these light infantry. This is getting me to commit my reserve lifeguards over here. Trying to get them to hold off that elite, those 2 elite units of grenadiers. Meanwhile, I have been able to outflank and break this flank of the Bavarian player, now able to roll up the entire flank. While on this side, a giant cavalry engagement has begun with one of my infantry units firing straight into it. On the other side of the map again, the line battle is going more and more into Guatemala's favor, as they have the sheer weight of numbers against the Americans. Just charging in cavalry to keep units down, while he is moving his own infantry in to go for the charge. And that's practically what he's been doing across the entire line. Now going in for melee, knowing he can win the fight in sheer numbers. Oh, no, he is going to be line battling over here. Going to be a line battling, did not expect that. However, some of units are moving way up. On top of that, the Guatemalan player still has some cavalry left in the rear of the American player, now able to break the last couple of units of line infantry he has left. While on my flank, it is now these grenadiers against my life guard. Just going for a bit of a cinematic, just absolutely brutal hand-to-hand combat between these elite units. Meanwhile, I'm shooting into the back of those elite units with this unit of line infantry. While they're getting shot in the back by the Bavarian artillery. Meanwhile, I am moving myself up, actually engaging in melee with this unit of infantry of the Bavarian player. Still a melee that should go my way, as I do have the numbers advantage over him. Again, moving in more of what was left, more of my infantry to clean up what is in the back, and by that point the US player has been completely wiped off the map. Never thought you guys would be seeing a Guatemala win against the United States. As for me, I am now just moving in my infantry to practically fight the 2 units of Jaegers the Bavarian player has left in reserve, as well as still fighting this cavalry engagement. Now with my infantry thrown into melee against these cuirassiers, trying to hold on, as I have practically lost all of my cavalry. Over here again, the cannons are now firing point blank. Probably going to be unloading with shrapnel shots soon. While they're still oh yeah. Yeah, you can see the shrapnel just unleashing on these infantry. Just cutting down swaths of these units. Meanwhile, my own artillery is raining back at the Bavarian player. While on this side of the map, just the sheer carnage here in these forests. The American player completely underestimating the Guatemalans. At this point, the battle is as good as over, with not enough units still left on the map to actually be able to win. And here we get a cavalry charge of the Bavarian general into a unit of my infantry. As over here, my infantry and 6 of my guard Uhlans are still fighting a unit of the Bavarian cuirassiers, not wanting to let go. But over on this side of the map, his light infantry has broken. It's wavering now, and now he's going for the mass rout. This is the end of the battle. So we're just going to play these on a bit faster speed. And don't worry, it's the game lagging. This is just Shogun 2 on 3 speed. Now the Guatemalan cavalry coming in to finish off the Bavarian light infantry. While over here the Bavarian general's bodyguard is still trying to run away. He's now going to be run down by the Guatemalans. Trying to go for one last charge, and that's going to mark the end of this battle. So let us now just go and take a look at the post-battle results. But bringing those dragoons as a screening force was a huge mistake by the American player, for which he paid, as the Guatemalan infantry just overwhelmed him in melee. So this is where the battle ends up. With only 1,400 losses for Guatemala, I actually lost more men fighting Bavaria. But just the sheer, utter domination of the Guatemalan player, Merlin here, over Pelagas is absolutely astounding. So, I will thank you all for watching and hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Bye for now.